live here on twitch.tv/Wrestling Underground. I am your host, as always, Chad Porto, and joining me is the glorious one himself. He is Giannis Antetokounmpo's other leg, the non-destroyed one. He is Marcus Green. Marcus, welcome to the show.
It's good to be back. More wrestling talk. Let's get to it.
Yeah, so this is a live stream. So if you're listening on the YouTube side of things, you're gonna have to click on 3 different videos to hear the whole stream because we're awful like that. We're bringing back Making an Impact. It's been pretty much defunct since April, when Zachary had to reshamble his life in a different order. So Marcus is going to be serving as my new co-host. Welcome. And then after that, we're doing Lucha Loot Bag. Yeah, Loot Bag. God, I hate myself. We're doing Lucha Look Back. And we're watching all the episodes of Lucha Underground, and we're going to review them. It's going to be a dumb thing. Welcome to the air. It's all we do. But if you're listening to the stream, obviously you're going to hear all 3. If you're listening to the podcast, of the Wrestling Underground podcast, you're only going to hear this, and then you got to click on the other 2 days. Thursday, wait, what day is it? Tuesday. Wednesday, Making an Impact will go up. I just realized that Impact's on a Thursday now. I guess it'll go up Wednesday morning because I can't have nice things. Now I remember why we delayed the show. We're gonna do them on Wednesdays. Like, fuck it. Like, you're gonna have to wait 5 days for our review, because I'm not doing shows for Thursday or Friday night. Like, no, I'm good, homie. And then Thursday, one of those days, right? Thursday we'll do our Lucha Look Back. The show's off the air for Lucha Underground, so I don't need to worry about when we post that show. If I'm a sadist, Marcus, I'll stop doing Making an Impact and pick back up with the NWA weekly pay-per-views, because Zach had to tap out on those. Those were terrible. That's only if I'm a sadist. So let's get to the headlines, because we do have some headlines. WWE fired a bunch of people. Again, apparently Nick Khan, no relation to Tony, no relation to Khan, Nooney, and Singh either. He fired a bunch of new people. And some old people. I think it was altogether like 15 in total, I think. 2, 4, and then 14. I can count. So here's who got cut. Everrise. Terrible fucking name. Like, that's someone, like, that's like a 12-year-old going, this is the coolest name fucking ever was. Yeah, because they're rising forever.
Yeah, that's either that or very horrendously rushed male genitalia supplement.
Yeah, don't take an Everrise. And if you have taken an Everrise and your erection has lasted for more than 4 hours, please go consult your physician immediately, because your dick's about to pop off. And not in the fun way. So they're out. Their original names were 3.0, which I thought was better, but still not great. These are the dumbasses who are like, oh, yeah. Yeah, 3.0, because, like, we're not as good as a 4.0, but, like, we're still pretty good. Like, why? Why would you name yourself that? It's not cute. It's not kitsch. It's not going to work. It's like, no one ever took Mike Sanders at all seriously because his fucking nickname was above average. Congratulations. You're what most people put on OkCupid when they talk about their penis size. Above average. Sure. Okay, Mike. So, yeah, Everrise, terrible name. I don't even know what their gimmick was. I don't even think they made it to TV, and if they did, they didn't do anything. Fandango and Tyler Breezango, another terrible fucking name, they're gone. I will miss some of the fashion files, but let's be honest, WWE does not hire wrestling personalities or people who even understand the wrestling industry. So it's not like the fashion files were ever actually going to be good consistently. I will say this, Tyler Breeze is a free agent. P.D. Williams and Josh Alexander always talking about Team Canada. There you go. There's your third.
Yeah, they Fandango. I mean, both of those guys, man. They considering, they kind of had some hot starts, specifically Fandango, who caught on specifically because of his music, and Breeze was super hot, and um, as Prince Pretty in his NXT run, they probably ended up saving each other when they got together,
Mm-hmm.
because they probably would have been cut up, years ahead of what they were. They probably, in a lot of ways overstayed their welcome. But again, like a lot of teams had to make it work. They just, you know, stuff like New Day only comes like ever so many years. So, um, like I said, I think those guys did a lot. Like you, I think the Fashion Files is probably my favorite part of them being together, and they got some tag shots. But ultimately, would probably have been expendable for a while. It just got cut now.
Yeah, and that's the saddest thing of all. So Sean Devari returns to the company as a producer, allegedly. Who knows if that's even true? And Arya Devari gets fired like 3 days later. I feel like Sean did that on purpose. Like, no, fuck my brother, just fire him. No one likes him in the family anyway.
Hilarious.
So Arya is going to be a very interesting get because he actually debuted in Lucha Underground way back when. Because if I remember correctly, no, I'm sorry, they debuted together in I think Global Force Wrestling. I'm pretty sure Arya debuted in Global Force. Look at that. We'll get to some more Global Force guys. Killian Dane's out. I can't remember one thing he did.
Killian Dane, the big hairy dude.
Yeah, the walking Wookie.
You might have stayed if Vince could have got a hold of that gimmick, but wow, and they kept Spud.
Yep, and they cut Spud. Poor Spud. Marina Schaefer. I don't even know who that is. She's gone. Kurt Stallion on August Gray and Arturo Rojas. They're gone. I don't know who the fuck they are. To show you that there is a God and he does have a sense of humor, Tony Nese and Tino Sabatelli are gone. Talk about just fucking generic fucking people.
Jesus, Tino Sabatelli,
he got fired again. And I say this with literally no sarcasm whatsoever. I think the biggest loss, or at least the biggest gain to the Indies, will be the Bollywood boys. Harvin Gurv, excuse me. Sahara? I think that's how you pronounce it. Gurv, Sahara, and
they top highlights is getting over executed by Randy Orton.
Yep. So. But they debuted on Global Force Wrestling, if I remember correctly, actually won the tag team titles originally. Before it was like an Impact brand. So, like, they were highly scouted. And you got to remember, that Global Force era brought you guys like JR Kratos and Killer Cross. So, like, the Bollywood boys aren't, they ain't nothing. Plus, you have a ready-made situation in Impact with Rohit and Mahabali. Or Mahabali. I still don't know how you pronounce that. So, like, you could easily fit them together in a new version of the Desi Hit Squad. So, I don't know. I say do it. I'd be down with that. Marcus, this is like 40 talents now that we've had released. I'm not even joking. I'm gonna launch EWR after the show's over. Find every single person that's been released this year and create a federation with them and see what I can do with it. I'm gonna give myself like $50 million to play with. It's like I'm not gonna worry about going bankrupt, but still.
It's gonna make a very interesting article if it turns into that.
Right.
But yeah, man, I mean, ultimately they were expendable. I mean, I don't think they necessarily had a reason if they're making as much money hand over foot as it's been alleged. But I just think they're getting rid of a lot of what they feel is dead weight, specifically talent that they're actively, consistently not using.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes, I mean, they basically, I don't even know if the 24/7 title thing is a thing anymore. So.
Yes, because Tozawa just lost it and won it back last night. I only know that because of Twitter. Like, I had to watch that fucking mess.
He has it. I'm like, does it even exist if it's not on Truth? So, because they put Truth in it. But yeah, so, it's just, it sucks. We never, clap for people losing their jobs, but it's like, a lot of people didn't even know or remember these people were employed until this list came up, so.
Mm-hmm. I have more of an issue with WWE cutting people during a pandemic.
Yeah.
Like, what happened last April, I thought was just the most scummy thing in the world. most places now in the country are fully open. So I have less of an issue with this. So I don't see it in the same light. And it has nothing to do with the value of the talent, because I still think you have some really decent talents like Tyler Breeze, Ari Davari, the Bollywood Boys. So there's definitely talent here. Maybe not name value, but talent nonetheless. And I think when you look at these guys, you can get a lot of miles out of them. So it's not like I'm more upset that they cut Rusev than I am the Bollywood Boys. It's just that now there are more shows starting to happen again. More companies are coming back to full strength. So there's going to be more openings like Impact. You know, I'm sure Impact is going to want to have a couple more guys added to the roster in the next few weeks, especially build up to Slammiversary. Excuse me. So I'm less upset. And more than that, a lot of these guys don't really have a lot of impactful value. Like, I don't know what Tino Sabatelli and Tony Nese are going to do. Like, God forbid those two dudes have to develop a personality, because I don't know what the fuck that personality is going to be. Damn, like, whew. I don't even know who Marina Schaefer is. Like, that's going to suck to be her, but...
Was that the chick that Rollins dated? Or was that a different chick?
No, that's Schreiber.
Gotcha.
No, no Nazis were hurt in this making of a firing. And congratulations to Seth Rollins and On the Moon, Becky Lynch. They apparently got married today. The worst sounding couple in the history of forever. I will not apologize if I'm ever caught in a Nikki Bella-like situation. I said what was honest and truthful. They sound like they have cats and marbles in their mouth at all time. It's not my fault. Especially Seth. Like, goddamn. All right, speaking of goddamn, Nikki Bella. Hall of Famer. Fucking travesty in its own right.
I'm about to say, you can laugh now, and put in the laugh track.
So apparently, like 8 years ago, she was on Joan Rivers' show, and Joan Rivers is a piece of shit. I don't care if she's dead. Her entire career, she made fun of people who were not in on the joke. So I don't really care. She was a bad person. Nikki Bella basically, she was on her show, like the Fashion Police on E! And the commentary essentially went something to the effect, like Nikki said something to the effect of, "We don't know if this is a man or a woman," talking about China. And Joan Rivers said, "I totally agree. China is to say she is butch. I'd hate to say that, but her vagina has a penis." So that was the thing that was said. Nikki, for her part, and granted, she only apologized after the China Twitter account, which is still active, even though she's dead, tweeted out a video of Nikki Bella saying these things. So Nikki basically said, "I want to sincerely apologize for a comment I made over 8 years ago on Fashion Police, not the Breezango show. I am sorry and embarrassed by my 29-year-old self," because, 29 is kind of like 19, which is why she's referencing her age, "who offended China and in turn hurt her family and others. I wish I could take it back. Please learn from me. It's not worth hurting someone's feelings for a meaningless laugh. China will always be remembered as an icon and the pioneer who created the opportunities for women in wrestling that exist today. Thank you, China." Fuck Trish Stratus, Lita, Gail Kim, and everyone else. China created all those moments. Like, see, here's the thing. China's a great talent. Maybe not a great talent, but she's at least a great character. But the problem is, like, when someone passes away and then it has to get eulogized, it's always like, well, they were the reason why we're here today. I'm pretty sure it wasn't the only reason, homie. So Nikki Bella gets caught with her hand in the cookie jar, so to speak. Says some pretty outlandish shit about someone's looks. Not too surprising, considering how vain and vapid she appears on basically every form of entertainment she's ever been on. And, oh yeah, talent's still not sexually transmitted. I'll say it. Marcus, are people being a little too harsh on the Nikki Bella? Considering this was 8 years ago and she was a young, childish age of 29. Yeah. And this was 8 years ago.
Yeah. No,
John!
Yeah.
Wait.
But
Are we doing Nikki or Seth Rollins? I can't tell anymore.
no, it's hilarious. But yeah, that was the perfect name. Sorry, seeing you got caught in collateral damage again. I can still see him running from people during that whole Asian conflict he started. But
Taiwan's a country, John.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool that she did that. And, I mean, obviously, like you said, it felt like she only did that because of she get like you said, she got caught with her hand in the cookie jar. I just wish she would have had that same amount of respect for China back then.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was actually alive back then, and I don't even think if China did say something back then about it, if people sent it to her, I don't know, maybe she did or maybe she didn't. But again, it sucks because not only like you said it was vapid and stupid and just pointless to go along with a joke, but she kind of joined in on the whole thing about you know them basically cutting a woman's career and throwing it in the trash like it never happened to make her the brunt of a joke. When for years, like I said, they erased it from history and just it became the leader in Trish narrative. Right? Everybody pointed to leader in Trish and starting, like you say, leaving out people like Jazz and others. Um, yeah, it sucks. I'm glad she apologized. Just wish she, would have had that same amount of respect because she is right. I mean, China absolutely blazed the trail. Um, was she the best female wrestler that ever exists? No, but that's subjective and whatnot. She deserves her respect and her flowers. And I wish she would have got more from her proper due when she was still alive. But as we talked about on the last show, so many people failed her, um, both professionally and personally, and just sucks that certain people wanted to be in on an unnecessary and cruel joke. But as far as being too hard on Nikki, it's whatever. She has a life, she has her money, she has her accolades. Like you said, she's a Hall of Famer, so she can throw that in people's faces at any given time. Um, she's not new to that, so she'll get over the Twitter stuff. It's not like they, showing up at her house or nothing.
Thankfully, because that does happen. Because people are
Yeah.
crazy. Speaking of crazy, Sasha Banks. Apparently, Marcus, she is all sorts of the cray-cray. So I checked out the Instagram post that she liked, and it is full of the most salacious, not even the most diehard, writer and I mean Righteter, will believe this nonsense. Like, there's one photo of a person puking blood into a sink going, he just got the COVID vaccine 12 minutes ago. Do what? Do you not understand how biology works? Apparently not. And, like, it's all this, like, my uncle got the vaccine and then died 14 years later. Coincidence? I think not. And I'm like, wow, okay. I bet you a lot of people are like missing a lung or like have diabetes. And they're like, yeah, he died 3 days after the vaccine. I mean, he already had COVID and they gave him the vaccine to try to cure it, but it clearly was the reason he died. Like, these are the comments that they're making, right? And Sasha Banks like, yeah, this seems like it's backed by science. Click. And people are like, wait, did Sasha Banks just like this nonsense? Now, we shouldn't be surprised because Sasha Banks was colleagues, co-stars, and running buddies for a little while with Gina Carano while they were on the set of The Mandalorian together. I wouldn't be surprised if Gina was like, Sasha, did you know that getting a vaccine gives you not just diabetes, but also hemorrhoids, lockjaw, and the bubonic plague? Bet you didn't know that, Sasha. And Sasha's probably like, Gina, my gosh, she's so right. Now, we've defended Miss Banks in the past about some of the stories about her and the behavior. But I'm starting to think maybe we're on the wrong side of history, Mark. Because when you start making comments or at least start liking comments from the deranged, whoo, It's like sitting there going, you know what? That person who thought of eugenics, they had a really good idea. No. No. I'm sorry, but no. I know a lot of people are going to have differing opinions on vaccines and masks and all that goodness, and I'm not going to force my stance on anyone. That's not how I roll, for the most part. There are some things I will enforce my stance on, like don't diddle children. I'm sorry if that offends your sensibilities, but I'm very pro not diddling children. So I'm going to preach that message until you're blue in the face, because I never get tired of talking. I'm a god like that. But there are some things I'm not going to force myself, to do. And if you don't want to get a vaccine, that's your choice. But in the end of the day, if you're liking nonsense that is destructive, dismissive, disinformation, that spreads disinformation. There we go. I got it eventually, Marcus. I got it. Just let me talk my way through it. I'm good. Then I'm going to have a problem with that, especially considering you have an influence on people. Do you know how many diseases could kill you in a given day if it wasn't for vaccines? Like, this is, we've developed vaccines for 100 years. We know how to do it. It's not fucking difficult. Like, it's like a goddamn Lego set. Like, you open up the package, you see the one brick goes on the other brick, and then the second thing has the two bricks going on a third brick, and then there's a fourth brick. It's pretty fucking easy to follow if you know what you're doing. So for Sasha Banks to be liking comments that are not just inappropriate, but are also just lies, whoo, that scares me. And again, look who her colleagues are. Drake Wuertz. So I got some concerns, and now the bank's statements, the bank fandom, the Sasha stands, I don't know what we're calling them. They're all like, not Sasha, I can't breathe. And I'm like, this is why you don't deify people. There are only two people in this world you should be deifying. Snoopy and Pork Chop. Because dog spelled backwards is God, Marcus. And yes, Snoopy is God. Fight me.
I can't wait till we get merch again. But
Snoopy is God. Fight me. There's the next shirt.
But yeah, I mean, look, man. Simply put, like, to back up all of what you brilliantly said, man. Like, we ain't here to push our stuff on nobody. It is what it is. People have the option to make these choices. But I think more people need to learn, like, just because it's in your head doesn't mean it needs to be on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't tweet it, the liking and the retweeting is basically an endorsement. Specifically when it comes from high-profile people like Banks, who, along with a lot of her other colleagues, has this perception that's tightly held onto by our fans that, she can't really necessarily jolt out of, or they're going to go crazy, like you said, because either they need to believe that they think like they think, or, the public enemy number one. So it's an interesting sticky wicket to be in, but, like I said, just because it's on your brain don't mean the mass public need to know about it. So.
Yeah, and that's right there. It's like just the most spot on kind of statement. We don't need to know. If you think dinosaurs are in the government, man, no one's going to believe you. Just shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Like, cool. You actually think that lizard people exist in the White House. That's dumb. Flat earthers, you dumb. Diego Sanchez, Kyrie Irving, like, you dumb. Like, take Corey Graves and Sasha Banks and anyone else who thinks you're dumb stuff and just go be dumb somewhere off the internet, because we don't need to look back in 80 years going, remember when people actually thought the world was flat again for no reason whatsoever other than they were too stupid to realize they were stupid?
So, yeah, me and Chad running out the door behind them with a body bag of somebody still alive and like, yeah, and hey, before you go, take Flat Earth Flip with you.
Oh, no. I forgot about Flat Earth Flip. And I always love it. It's like these pseudo-intellectuals who are so afraid of being seen as stupid that they say stupid shit and remove all doubt. Like, if I just meet you in a random place and you're like, yeah, cool. And I'm like, all right, this dude might be cool. I don't need to know about the bubbling stupidity you have in the back of your cerebral cortex. Like, just let it simmer. Let me assume you aren't the complete and total idiot that I think you are. I don't think that's a hard thing to do. But then again, who am I to judge? I don't know. Speaking of dumb people saying dumb shit, and yes, I used a picture of Sasha Banks in a bikini, and no, I will not apologize. If she can't respect me and my rights, no, it's actually just a great photo. She's gorgeous. She might be dumb as a box of rocks, but she's just gorgeous. The pretty ones always are. The Beverly Hillbillies got it right. Jethro was the dumbest of the lot, but he was the best looking.
Oh, Jethro.
Just saying. So, Drake Wuertz, years of drug abuse and concussions have clearly affected his judgment because this was a stupid fucking idea. So John Laurinaitis, which is just, I love the fact that I get to say John Laurinaitis again. Just, oh God. So John Laurinaitis sent out a text basically saying effective immediately at all upcoming TVs. If you have been fully vaccinated, you no longer are required to wear a mask. Required to test or wear a mask. However, if you are fully vaccinated, make sure medical has proof of your vaccination. If you are not fully vaccinated, the standard protocol is still in place. You still have to test, fill out paperwork, have your temperature checked, and wear a mask. Thank you. Signed, John Laurinaitis. So Drake Wuertz thought this was a good idea to post this message. And, yeah. And apparently, Jerry Lawler has been vaccinated. Just to put that out there. 70-year-old man who dates 18-year-old children, fully vaccinated. Drake Wuertz. Nah. Drake Wuertz says, any company that is discriminating against employees that refuse to participate in an experimental medical procedure by forcing them to show proof of vaccination in order to come to work in a normal capacity is violating basic human rights. First and foremost, they're not. Secondly, you don't know what the terms experimental medical procedure means. And thirdly, you don't know what normal capacity is. And fourthly, you don't know what basic human rights are. I had to break it to you, buddy. Like, 4 things in that sentence was wrong. This isn't like making a right turn where if you do 3 lefts, you go right. No, like, homie, you're still fucking wrong.
Wait a minute. You mean to tell me, so I'm going to just assume he's not vaxxed?
Are you shocked? This is a QAnon supporter, Drake Wuertz. QAnoner.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bottle. That's a whole nother bottle, dummy. Yeah. But, so, this was a clear-cut, even statement. Even a 10-year-old could figure this out.
Yep.
He took one side of it to benefit his narrative.
Yep.
And ran with it. Because Lord clearly didn't state that if you're not vaxxed, follow the protocol, the typical protocol that everybody and their mom was following before the damn vaccinations came out.
Yep.
All right. Yep.
And to be clear, this isn't a government gig. This isn't some essential business. He's not being forced to work there. So there's no human right violation because you can get another job elsewhere. I mean, granted, he probably can't because I don't think he's that intelligent, but, like, you don't have to work someplace. Like, I worked in a comedy club for a week. And it was the most abusive situation that I've ever been in my life. And Marcus, I used to get into fights for a living, and the comedy club was still the worst place I ever worked. I worked in private security for a decade, give or take. I worked in a comedy club for 4.5 days. I didn't go, this is violating my civil liberty and my human rights. I went, this place is toxic, I'm out.
Yeah, like I was in a damn comedy club for 4 days and I didn't laugh once.
Well, I laughed, but only to cover the tears. Greg Wuertz isn't done, though. His statement continues on saying, I question, pushed back, and then defied this tyrannical overreach of control. Motherfucker, they make you wear clothes to work. If that's not tyrannical overreach, then wearing a mask cannot be classified. Are you fucking kidding? If you showed up out of your suit, because he's a producer, or at least was, you would have been sent home. You would have been fired. So he's fine with being told how to dress. But Marcus, you ask him to wear a mask so he doesn't spread a contagious disease with a high mortality rate. That's the issue.
Laurinaitis literally writes up a statement that is basically people power written.
Yeah.
Again,
yeah.
like I say,
Greg Wuertz goes over the top with it, like a Sylvester Stallone movie, over the top.
Like the kids say, you put 10 on 2, and you was not long gas, sir. Okay, no. You went long gas again, just trying to serve up that narrative, and like you said, removing all doubt of his stupidity. All he's doing is making himself exceptionally fireable right now.
Oh, he's already fired. He's already been fired. That's why he's making the tweet. He continues on, because God knows he's not done, saying that didn't fit their narrative and I was punished. Faith is taking a stand and knowing that God has you covered. I lost my 6-figure job for taking a stand on multiple fronts, and I don't regret it one bit. We all come to a point where we either follow the Lord or follow the world. That decision was easy for me. I'd rather flip burgers for the glory of God than smell my soul being part of a cabal that's pushing a deceptive lie that you must mask up or take the jab in order to participate in normal everyday life. A company I thought was patriotic because, covering up murder, sexual assault claims, having a boss with 2 rape allegations against them, super fucking patriotic, has now bowed to the communist mob agenda. Hashtag religious freedom, hashtag uncanceled, hashtag rise up, hashtag defy tyrants, hashtag medical freedom, hashtag best strong and courageous, hashtag glory to God. See, now, the God I read about, now, I don't know who he's reading. There's a lot of them Bibles out there. King James Bible, the Catholic Bible, the Hebrew Bible. A lot of different Bibles out there, Marcus. The Bible I always read was basically treat your neighbors with respect and pray in private. I ain't seen him praying in private, and I damn sure don't see him respecting his neighbors. And I think the funniest fucking bit about this is he's like, yeah, God said don't get vaccinated. God said you don't need to wear a mask. God said that you can defy the tyrants of the WWE. I remember that. It was in Austin 3:16. It said, thou shalt not, double not, wear a mask.
Just imagine like a 2021 Stone Cold version of Stone Cold, like such and such 3:16 says I just vaxxed your ass.
Vince 24/7 says, he who shall not work out at 4 a.m. is no swole friend of mine. Let us not forget Stephanie Parable 12:12 saying, do these tits look real? They don't. We have from the pre-Bible, the Hebrew version, Jericho Y2J says, knock these walls down. Then I don't remember any of his other song lyrics.
Look, man, I fancy myself a Christian. Definitely believe in the higher power. But if you want to find some of the quick, the biggest hypocrites in the room very fast, just turn your attention to the person telling everybody else what God told him to tell them.
Yeah. Tell me more about your issues with this one thing while you continue to wear polyester and eat shrimp. I guess some things are bad, but only if you think so. Good job, they're Drake.
Please tell me about this holy virtual FaceTime you had with the Most High that you needed to come spread this message. Because you are clearly the go-to man.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, okay.
Listen, as a lapsed Catholic, I understand that maybe some things in this world are confusing. But the one thing I will never disagree with is if it was decent enough for Jesus to do, I think you could do it too. Jesus quite literally died for our sins. Homie, you can wear a mask. I'm just saying, lead by example. Like, right? Like, Jesus, like, all right, man, I'm going to cure humanity of sin. And I'm going to get shanked by these Italian-looking motherfuckers. Are bad. But, like, you can't wear a mask? You'll flip burgers for Christ. But God forbid you worry about the health of your fellow man and neighbor. Oh, Drake, you have the CTE. I promise, buddy. Oh, I promise. You got the CTE. The CTE. Speaking of promises. Promises. The NWA is promising legends. I don't know what that means. It's the championship series. I'm pretty sure Impact had one of those already. And it's debuting next week on NWA Power. The company announced the new points-based series will begin on July 13th with NWA World Heavyweight Champion Nick Aldis and NWA Women's Champion Camille participating alongside quote-unquote other legends. Marcus, who the fuck could that be? Are they going to bring in Koloff? He's like 68. Like, I generally don't know who the hell they would be bringing in that's a legend.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. So they got Mickey already. She's kind of on that way.
I mean, you got Mickey, you got Melina, but that's really it for the women's division in terms of, like, legends. Like, you're not going to go get Lita or Trish. Medusa's 54 with a new knee and probably a second one that needs to be replaced. So, like, I don't know. That doesn't seem like a viable option. Are you going to get Kevin Nash? Like,
do you think Storm comes back?
Yeah, I mean, Storm makes sense, but I don't know. I love Tim Storm. I was about to call him James Storm. I love Tim Storm, but, like, can we really call him a legend? So, like, I don't know. Maybe an NWA legend? Maybe?
I feel like they probably trying to figure it out as much as we are.
Probably. So they're going to be doing some announcements next week about who's going to be in this. So we'll figure it out who in real time who it is. But, like, this feels like the Dixie Carter hypes. Like, yeah, next week, big surprise, it's Al Snow. Oh, big legend coming, it's Al Snow again somehow. Hey, Hall of Famer, Tito Ortiz. What?
What does everybody want? Not you.
We're cool. Like, granted, did you know that Al Snow trained Dan Severn for MMA? This isn't a bit. Like, I'm not being funny. Al Snow was literally one of Dan Severn's coaches for Dan Severn's debut in the UFC back in, like, 95. Yeah. Legit. Look it up. I think I broke Marcus's brain. Like, what? The Beast? Al Snow? What? Nah. All right, Marcus. It's that time. Let's make an official notes. Where the hell are we at? We are at 39 minutes in. So 39 minutes in. We are live and popping with the return episode, the comeback episode of Making an